Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that the opportunity capable of changing your financial future had already appeared, but you ignored it because it looked too ordinary. What if the greatest fortune meant for your life never arrives as money first, but as a quiet sign your unconscious almost convinced you to overlook? Today, you'll discover the hidden psychological signals that often appear before unexpected prosperity enters a person's life. These aren't magical promises or lucky superstitions. They're profound inner patterns that reveal why some people recognize life-changing opportunities while others unknowingly walk right past them. If this perspective is changing the way you see money, opportunity, and the hidden messages within your own life, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Every week, we explore the deeper psychological forces that shape success, purpose, relationships, and transformation. Stay with us until the end, because the final sign is the one most people dismiss, and it may be the very reason they miss the greatest opportunity of their lives. What if the events you dismiss as coincidence are actually connected by an invisible pattern? Most people believe life unfolds through random chance, but there are moments when unrelated events seem to align with uncanny precision. You think of someone, and they call minutes later. You repeatedly encounter the same message in different places. An unexpected opportunity appears immediately after you've been questioning your future. These moments often feel too meaningful to be accidents. They seem to carry a silent message, inviting you to pay closer attention to the deeper currents shaping your life. The unconscious mind speaks a language that logic alone cannot fully understand. Instead of communicating through straightforward explanations, it often reveals itself through symbols, recurring experiences, and emotionally charged coincidences. When your inner world begins changing, your perception of the outer world changes as well. Suddenly, certain conversations stand out, specific opportunities seem impossible to ignore, and ordinary events begin carrying extraordinary significance. It is not necessarily that the universe has changed overnight. It is that your awareness has become capable of recognizing patterns that were always present. This shift in perception frequently occurs before major transformations. Long before external success becomes visible, something inside begins reorganizing itself. Your priorities quietly evolve. Old fears lose their grip. New ideas repeatedly enter your mind from different directions. Books, conversations, and unexpected encounters seem to revolve around the same themes. Rather than viewing these experiences as isolated incidents, they can be understood as signs that your unconscious is preparing you to notice opportunities that your former mindset would have overlooked. The change begins within before it becomes visible without. Many people wait for abundance to arrive dramatically, expecting a sudden miracle or an unmistakable announcement. Yet meaningful opportunities rarely appear that way. They often arrive disguised as ordinary conversations, unexpected invitations, difficult decisions, or small choices that seem insignificant at first. The greatest financial breakthrough may begin with a single introduction, a simple idea, or a moment of courage that appears almost too ordinary to matter. Those who remain fully present are often the ones who recognize the value hidden inside these seemingly minor events. The true lesson is not to chase every coincidence or believe every unusual event guarantees wealth. Instead, it is to cultivate awareness. When your inner life becomes more attentive, disciplined, and receptive, meaningful connections naturally become easier to recognize. Synchronicity is less about predicting the future and more about revealing your readiness for it. The people who experience remarkable transformation are often those who learn to trust thoughtful intuition while acting wisely when opportunity quietly knocks. What appears to others as luck may simply be the reward of someone who learned to recognize the hidden language that life had been speaking all along. Most people believe they are waiting for money to arrive, but in reality, they are waiting for permission to receive it. Deep beneath conscious thought lies a hidden system of beliefs that quietly determines what feels possible and what feels out of reach. You may consciously desire financial success, yet unconsciously believe that wealth belongs to other people, that prosperity must always come through struggle, or that having more will somehow change who you are. These silent beliefs act like invisible boundaries, shaping your decisions long before opportunity ever appears. From childhood, every experience with money leaves an emotional imprint. Perhaps you grew up hearing that wealthy people cannot be trusted, or that financial security is something only a lucky few achieve. Maybe you watched loved ones work tirelessly while constantly worrying about bills. Over time, these experiences become part of your unconscious identity. Even when new opportunities emerge, the mind often rejects them, not because they are impossible, but because they conflict with the story you have been telling yourself for years. Without realizing it, you may turn away from the very future you claim to want. The first sign that abundance is approaching is often not an increase in income, but a transformation in identity. You begin questioning the beliefs that once controlled your choices. Instead of asking, why does success happen to everyone else? You begin asking, what if I am capable of creating a different future? This subtle shift changes everything. Your attention moves from limitation to possibility. You become more willing to learn, to take thoughtful risks, and to recognize opportunities that previously seemed invisible. The external world has not changed overnight. Your relationship with it has. This is why two people can encounter the same opportunity and experience completely different outcomes. One sees only uncertainty and walks away. The other recognizes potential and steps forward with quiet confidence. The difference is rarely intelligence or luck alone. It is the unconscious expectation of what each person believes they deserve and are prepared to receive. When the mind no longer resists growth, it naturally becomes more open to recognizing and acting on opportunities that align with its new beliefs. Receiving abundance is not about waiting passively for life to reward you. It is about becoming the kind of person who no longer pushes away possibility through fear, self-doubt, or feelings of unworthiness. As your inner beliefs evolve, your decisions begin to reflect that change. You speak differently, think differently, and respond differently when opportunity appears. In time, what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. Not because the universe suddenly changed its plans for you, but because you finally stopped resisting the life you were capable of building. Have you ever experienced a period when the same number appeared everywhere you looked, a dream refused to leave your memory, or an unexpected conversation echoed thoughts you had kept entirely to yourself? Most people dismiss these moments as meaningless coincidences. Yet throughout history, many have believed that profound change is often preceded by a series of symbolic experiences that quietly capture our attention. Whether these symbols come from the deeper unconscious or are interpreted as messages from the universe, their true power lies in their ability to awaken awareness and encourage reflection. The unconscious mind rarely communicates in direct sentences. Instead, it speaks through images, emotions, dreams, recurring themes, and powerful intuitions. A dream about discovering a hidden room in your house may symbolize unexplored potential within yourself. Repeated encounters with the same idea or message may reflect an inner readiness to move in a new direction. These symbols are not necessarily predictions of future events. Rather, they reveal aspects of your inner world that are becoming conscious, preparing you to notice opportunities that once escaped your attention. Many people report experiencing a surge of meaningful signs before a major turning point in life. They unexpectedly meet someone who introduces a new career path. They repeatedly hear about a business idea they had ignored for years. They find themselves drawn to a book that completely changes their perspective. At first, each event seems isolated, but looking back, they often recognize that these moments formed a connected pattern, gently guiding them toward a decision that transformed their future. What appeared random in the moment later revealed itself as part of a much larger story. The greatest mistake is assuming that every unusual event guarantees wealth or success. Symbols are invitations, not promises. They encourage awareness, but they cannot replace thoughtful judgment, preparation, or action. A meaningful coincidence may open a door, but it is your responsibility to decide whether to step through it. The universe may present possibilities, yet it is your choices, discipline, and willingness to grow that determine whether those possibilities become reality. Symbols illuminate the path. They do not walk it for you. Perhaps the most powerful sign is not found outside of you at all. It is the quiet, inner feeling that something is changing before any external evidence appears. You begin sensing that old habits no longer fit, familiar fears lose their influence, and new possibilities feel strangely natural. This inner shift often comes before visible success. The symbols you encounter simply mirror the transformation already taking place within. When you learn to observe these moments with curiosity instead of fear, you become more attentive to the opportunities life places before you, and that awareness can become the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Most people believe that the greatest obstacle to financial abundance is a lack of opportunity, education, or resources. Yet one of the most powerful barriers often exists within the hidden parts of the mind. Deep beneath your conscious ambitions lives what psychologists call the shadow, the collection of fears, suppressed emotions, limiting beliefs, and painful experiences that quietly influence your decisions. This hidden side of the psyche does not announce itself openly. Instead, it whispers through hesitation, self-doubt, procrastination, and the subtle urge to stay where life feels familiar, even when that familiarity keeps you stuck. The shadow is formed through years of experiences that leave emotional scars. Perhaps you were taught that wealthy people are selfish, that wanting more is a sign of greed, or that financial success always comes with sacrifice and loneliness. Maybe you experienced failure that convinced you were not capable of achieving more. Over time, these beliefs become deeply rooted, shaping your identity without your awareness. Even when a genuine opportunity appears, the shadow may convince you that it is too risky, too difficult, or simply not meant for someone like you. What makes the shadow so powerful is that it often disguises itself as logic. It tells you that you are simply being realistic when in truth you are acting from fear. It encourages you to delay important decisions, avoid meaningful risks, or settle for less than you truly desire, because the unknown feels more threatening than remaining where you are. Many people believe they are waiting for the right opportunity, when in reality they are waiting for their hidden fears to loosen their grip. Until those fears are recognized, even the best opportunities can pass by unnoticed. True prosperity begins when you have the courage to confront these hidden parts of yourself instead of running from them. This does not mean eliminating fear entirely, it means understanding it. When you honestly examine your beliefs about money, success, and self-worth, you begin to discover which thoughts belong to your authentic potential and which were inherited from past experiences. Every limiting belief you question weakens the shadow's influence, creating space for confidence, wisdom, and intentional action to emerge. The greatest transformation often begins with the willingness to face what has been silently controlling your life. The remarkable truth is that your shadow is not your enemy. It is a messenger revealing the places where growth is still waiting to happen. Every fear points toward an area where deeper understanding is needed. Every insecurity highlights a belief ready to be transformed. As you bring these hidden patterns into conscious awareness, they lose much of their power over your decisions. In that moment, prosperity is no longer blocked by invisible walls within your own mind. You become free to recognize opportunities with clarity, act with purpose, and build a future guided not by fear, but by the fullest expression of your true potential. Most people spend their lives waiting for external circumstances to change before they believe they have become successful. They tell themselves, "When I earn more money, then I will feel confident. When I achieve financial freedom, then I will believe in myself." But life often unfolds in the opposite direction. The deepest transformation begins long before wealth appears in your bank account. The mind changes first. The identity evolves next, and only then does the outer world begin reflecting that inner shift. What looks like a sudden financial breakthrough is often the visible result of an invisible transformation that has been taking place for months or even years. Every lasting change begins with the way you see yourself. If your unconscious identity is built around struggle, limitation, or the belief that success belongs to other people, you will unknowingly make choices that reinforce that identity. But when your perception begins to change, your actions naturally follow. You become more disciplined with your time, more intentional with your decisions, and more willing to recognize possibilities instead of obstacles. The transformation is subtle at first. Others may not notice it immediately, but your inner world is quietly preparing you for a different future. This inner evolution often feels uncomfortable because it requires leaving behind old versions of yourself. Habits that once felt normal begin to lose their appeal. Conversations that revolve around fear, excuses, or negativity no longer satisfy you. You start seeking knowledge, surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth, and paying closer attention to opportunities that align with your goals. It may even feel as though your old life is slowly falling away before your new one has fully arrived. This period of uncertainty is not a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. It is often evidence that your identity is expanding beyond its previous limits. Many people give up during this stage because they expect immediate external proof that their efforts are working. They measure progress only by visible results and overlook the profound changes taking place within. Yet every meaningful achievement begins as an internal decision before it becomes an external reality. The confidence to pursue a new opportunity, the courage to invest in your abilities, and the willingness to persist despite setbacks are all signs that your inner foundation is becoming strong enough to support greater success. Wealth is not created in a single moment. It is built upon countless invisible shifts in mindset and character. Perhaps the greatest sign that abundance is approaching is not an unexpected financial gain, but the quiet realization that you are no longer the person you used to be. Your fears no longer control every decision. Your sense of purpose becomes stronger than your need for certainty. You begin trusting your ability to learn, adapt, and grow, even when the path ahead is unclear. This inner transformation is the true beginning of prosperity. Once your identity aligns with wisdom, discipline, and possibility, the opportunities you once overlooked become impossible to ignore. The outer world starts reflecting the change that first took place within, proving that lasting wealth is not merely something you acquire, it is something your transformed self becomes prepared to create. What if the greatest financial opportunity of your life never arrives with flashing lights or absolute certainty? Most people imagine that life-changing moments will be impossible to miss, yet history tells a different story. The opportunities that reshape a person's future often appear quietly, disguised as ordinary decisions, unexpected conversations, or challenges that initially seem like setbacks. The tragedy is not that opportunity is rare, it is that many people fail to recognize it because they are waiting for something more dramatic. By the time they realize its true value, the window has already closed. Your unconscious mind plays a powerful role in determining whether you notice these moments. If it is dominated by fear, doubt, or the need for complete certainty, it will naturally filter out possibilities that require courage. You may dismiss an invitation to learn a new skill, ignore an introduction to someone who could change your career, or postpone an idea that continues returning to your thoughts. These choices may seem insignificant at the time, but they often become the turning points that separate one future from another. Opportunity rarely forces itself into your life. It quietly waits for your willingness to respond. One of the clearest signs that a window of opportunity is opening is a growing sense of inner urgency. You begin feeling that remaining the same is no longer an option. The routines that once felt comfortable now feel limiting. New ideas continue appearing from different sources, and meaningful conversations seem to point in the same direction. Rather than feeling random, these experiences create the impression that life is gently encouraging you to move forward. This does not guarantee success, but it signals that your inner world is becoming ready for a new chapter. Awareness is the first step, but action is what transforms possibility into reality. However, recognizing an opportunity also requires wisdom. Not every exciting possibility deserves your commitment, and not every coincidence is assigned to change your life overnight. True discernment comes from balancing intuition with thoughtful judgment. Instead of reacting impulsively, observe whether the opportunity aligns with your deepest values, strengthens your long-term growth, and challenges you to become a better version of yourself. The opportunities that truly matter often require patience, discipline, and consistent effort rather than instant rewards. They ask you to grow before they ask you to receive. In the end, the universe does not simply hand success to those who wait. It reveals possibilities to those who are prepared to see them.